where to go now?
Do you have your pick this time?
Yeah, okay, I'll give a pick. I'm just trying to think of a good one. Yeah, let's do
Yeah,
Sushi
I quite
Bar.
like Sushi Bar. I think
We'll do Sushi Bar, cool.
Got some nice sound effects, yeah.
This is actually quite a good one, because I know there's, again, some more parameters in Fmod that control how the music changes with some elements.
Ah, yes.
Which actually I'll quickly explain. So in this level, you're in a sushi bar. You can either win by punching a player or eating 4 pieces of sushi and leaving the restaurant. So there's basically some different game states, I suppose is the best way to describe it in this level. One game state is kind of the normal game where you're kind of walking around trying to win, either by punching or eating sushi. Another game state, which I'll demonstrate in a second, is there's a mouse basically you can summon, and you can use that to distract the people you're playing with from you, so you can hide. And there's also another state where you can leave. So if I were to eat enough sushi, I'd be able to leave the sushi bar. Then the final state is where the mouse is around and I'm able to leave the sushi bar. So you had to compose music for all of that, didn't you?
I forgot about this, yeah. I remember the collecting, I actually forgot about the mouse and leaving, so yeah, thanks for the reminder.
That's alright. Did you,
Yeah.
I'm guessing you started with the music we're listening to now, and did you just sort of build on that to make all the other states?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so I seem to remember initially the idea was that this was going to be a piano-only piece, like kind of like as if it's a piano bar. But in practice, I think it worked out better, like kind of arranging it for like a few players. But yeah, so yeah, I believe I wrote this bass music first. Then if the player collects enough of the sushi, then there's a variation on the bass music, which is more or less the same, but at a faster tempo, and with a bit of change to the melody. Then I think the mouse version is like a really demented sounding electric piano solo with like some, I think it's some guitar tremolos or ukulele going under it. And the victory, I seem to remember, is like a kind of coda for the music. So I think the chords are simpler and it kind of sounds like an outro, like a jazz band is vamping over it. Possibly we'll see in a second when we look at the Fmod event, but yeah.
Yeah, well, I can if I quickly press the triangle button, we'll hear what the music sounds like with that mouse. So I'll do that now.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, okay.
Actually sounded like you dropped some layers out, is that right? It almost sounded a little bit simpler there. Or am I wrong?
I seem to remember it. No, I think you're correct. I seem to remember it goes down to perhaps just the electric piano with the acoustic guitar strumming and less. Yeah, possibly.
That might be right.
I think the idea was just it sounds a bit demented.
Then I'll tell you what. Let me quickly eat some more sushi, and we can hear the other sort of side of things. So when I'm sort of about to leave and finish, now I've just got to quickly find some sushi that I can eat first. There we go. Cool, so it sounds like there's almost like a double bass or something going boom, 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 boom.
Yeah. Yeah, so originally it's in the first loop, but it becomes a bit more prominent in this version, and I think it's modulated too.
And yeah, the idea is I've won basically, so I need to run out one of the doors, but I'm not going to. Just so we can talk a bit more. But yeah, obviously. Yeah,
sure.
You're trying to up the pace, aren't you, of the gameplay? You're trying to say, right, quickly, you're about to win, run out the door. Right, well, then last thing I'll demonstrate music-wise, so obviously you can run out the door, but if I could summon the mouse still, so there's also a last thing for that. So let me quickly do that, we'll have a listen to that.
Oh yeah, go on then.
There you go, so just little subtle changes, I suppose.
A little scampering.
Yeah, I did a little scampering. I think that was like... I think I made that sound with, like, tissue paper? Yeah, I think I got, like, torn up some kitchen towel and I just sort of tapped it on my table. I got some, like, paper clips and, like, put that on the end of my fingers and just tapped that on the table so it sounded like a little scuttering. Eating-wise, so I had to make a few different variations for the eating, so people watching this video might have heard some crunching, some num 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 nums. Well, not num num nums, but just sort of the crunching of food. I did a few variations, and one of them I added like a burp to it. So I was there for quite a while, like drinking water and Coke and stuff, trying to get myself to burp. And then I recorded myself burping and added to them. And they weren't happy. The developers didn't like that. They thought that was a bit too gross, I suppose. As you can see, it's meant to be quite a nice restaurant. It's a sushi bar, and they thought it was a bit too immature. I thought that was quite funny, personally, but there's just a little example of creative differences. At the end of the day, it's their game, so I took all the burps out. And yeah, that's a sushi bar, so let me quickly leave.
Cool. Hey.
Any other ones you particularly want to talk about? I think we'll do one more. How does that sound?
Yeah, all right. Yeah, so I mean, up to you. Maybe Jim, or if there's another one you prefer to discuss, happy with that.
Yeah, Jim might be a good one. Can we do Spaceship if it's all right?
Yeah, fine with me. Yeah.
You got stuff to say about Spaceship? We'll do that then. Because yeah, there is quite some sound stuff going on here, but I'm hoping, from what I remember, the music's quite interesting as well. So, quick before we jump into this level, I'll quickly talk about the level itself. Yeah, it's a spaceship. It's a sci-fi theme. The idea is you're all dressed as aliens in a UFO. You obviously want to punch your friend as always, but in case you get spotted, you can teleport away using these teleporters scattered around the map. There's also this sort of central command center thing that will reveal who's a robot and who is a player, so you have to dodge this sort of light that's about to zap you. Now, I figured I'd quickly, before I play the game, there's a lot of... Some of my sounds are quite overpowering, I think, of the music, so I just thought we'd sit here for a bit and listen to the music. I'm hearing a lot of piano, Billy. It sounds like you're sort of going up some arpeggios.
Yeah.
Is that right? Is that what you're doing there with that sort of lead melody?
Yeah, there's plenty of arpeggios in it. So this was, I guess, kind of probably my biggest musical influence was I was playing Mario Galaxy at the point at which I was writing this. So going for a kind of cutesy outer space vibe, I guess. And you can hear the singing robots just there at the end. As we fade out, but yeah, essentially synths with some kind of gated effects on, with some like kind of spacey sounding piano on top, with some nice thick reverb and a little bit of singing robots were the main ingredients in this one.
Cool. Right, then let me quickly jump to the level, and we can hear that in action with the actual game.
Yeah, here we go. Oh, that's it. Yeah, of course. Because it has the lovely kind of sense of motion in like the spaceship itself and the way it's animated. I was trying to reflect that a little bit in the music, just to sound like you're moving fast through space, basically.
It sounds really, really dreamy. That's the kind of feel I get from the music. It's really, it's quite relaxing.
Yeah, good. Yeah, I think something about the way you're quite zoomed out on this stage, particularly, I think, kind of gave me that vibe. I think a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I see that too. It's almost like
yeah.
I think it's where we see the stars. It's a really nice effect that they've done, where they put the stars reflecting on the glass of the UFO. It feels very awe-inspiring, doesn't it? It's like...
Yeah, I love the design of the stage. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think that kind of pairs well with the music, seeing all these lights and stars and stuff. Any particular...
Yeah. Tell me a bit about these crazy sound effects.
Oh, the crazy sound effects, sure. So, let's start with the big thing in the middle.
Yeah.
Now, there was a lot going on with this. There's a lot of layers. Again, like you with your music, it's mostly synthetic. I'm trying to talk, but let it play as well. I think this took. Yeah, I don't think I really did any natural recordings for this. It was mostly like just. Like I said, those synthesizers. I can't remember the specifics of what I did though. What I can say is, as you can see, there's sort of 3 lights, and so each light has its own sound. It's pretty much the same sound. It sounds a little bit different because there's like some slight flange on it. So there's a little bit of, it's very, because of that flange, it's adding that subtle effect. I forget what flange does. I think it like adds a slight sort of delay, but that kind of delay makes it feel like the tone has shifted. But anyway, you've got that playing on the 3 lights, but then underneath there's this sort of low drone that builds up. It sort of goes, which I really like. It's not the sort of centre of the sound, but it adds a lot to the feel, and it sort of feels a bit tense. Basically, it feels like something's coming and about to arrive, and you've got to panic. It instills a sense of panic, I suppose. And the way I did that is with this sort of slow sweeping low pass filter that slowly widens, so it brings in the high end. Again, tremolo. I love adding tremolo to it. So I've added like on one of the it's not on all of them, but on one of the layers there is tremolo. So it's again stuttering. It's going like that.
Is that affecting the volume or the pitch, or both in this case?
But the tremolo?
Yeah, is that volume or pitch, or a bit of both?
Yeah, it's not pitch. I suppose it's volume. It's volume in the sense that in those intervals, it's dropping out the volume really quickly. So it's the amplitude, obviously, that's going straight to nothing and then back up to what it was. Yeah. But obviously, because it's quite quick, it doesn't feel like you've dropped the volume. So yeah, that's what it does. It's sort of controlling the amplitude, not the pitch. The flange, I suppose. Again, because I remember reading or learning about what flange is specifically and phases as well. I get them mixed up. One of them like affects the tone or the frequencies. The other does like it adds like a sort of phased delay or something like that, and that's how you get that weird sound. Honestly, a lot of it was just having some fun and just slapping a load of effects on to see what worked and what didn't. Yeah, then the only other real sound is the teleporter. So if I run in these, I'll just wait for that to finish. So there's like a teleporter sound for the player and a teleporter sound for NPCs that go through it. Yeah, again, I should have the project pulled up so I can remind myself, but it's some more noise in this, a noise with a lot of reverb. One reverb I purchased recently, which I wish I had for this project, was a FabFilters reverb. It's really nice, there's a lot of versatility to it.
Nice.
What I learned as I did this is that the reverbs I was using for these levels, I was sort of using the same sort of plugins, which is fine in some instances. I'm not saying you need all the sort of crazy plugins that are like $200 each. But I did start to notice how some of my sounds got a bit stale because I was using the same plugins in multiple instances. So that's something I learned for the future, is to, don't be afraid to invest, I suppose, have a little bit of variety and find that happy medium between not having loads but also knowing how to use your plugins, if that makes sense.
What kind of reverbs did you end up using for some of the sounds within this then usually? What were your go-to reverbs?
I can't remember. Yeah, some of them was like... I can find out, actually, if you give me 1 second. Oh Real River, which people can see now. I've had this for a while. It is free, and I think I just pulled it off some random website. It's alright. It's a pretty simple reverb, but it's very limited. That's one I used. As you'll learn with me, Billy, I'm very cheap when it comes to my plugins. But I'm slowly investing more and more. Oh, so I used some sound toys. I did use some sound toys ones. They're really good. So these aren't reverbs, but I did use their crystallizer, which adds like some nice echo onto stuff.
Nice. Yep.
And Little Plate, which is like their bog standard, really simple reverb. And all it is literally like a mix, a low cut, and a sort of reverb intensity dial. Do you have it, the crystallizer?
Yeah, I do. It's the only sound toys I own. I use it quite a bit on strings. Not in this game at all, actually, but for a kind of delay effect on strings, I really love using it. Yeah, it's good. Would recommend.
Very nice.